Picture this. You write down all the most positive things you can possibly think of about yourself. You stand in front of the mirror, you stick your chest out, and you're like, I am confident, I am free, I am rich, I am wealthy. And you say these things over and over again in the hopes that you rewire your mind, because these other negative thoughts that are coming up, the opposite of what you're saying, is kind of lingering in the back of your mind. And you think to yourself, well, if I just repeat this enough, I will rewire my subconscious mind. If I just listen to these playlists and put in my earphones and meditate for hours upon end, I will rewire my subconscious mind. Now, to a degree, this is true, and there's a place for everything. And I want to preface this video by saying, if this is working for you and you're getting amazing results in your life and your business and everything is thriving, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to share what I've learned from doing this myself and from the people I've worked with and from the research that I've done to back this up. So if you've been through this kind of process that I just mentioned, you may feel like there's something up, okay? It's not really working for me, and maybe that these affirmations are actually doing a little bit more harm than good, because I'm starting to believe the opposite of myself, right? That you're not confident, that you're not free, and that you're not actually rich, okay? And saying these things doesn't change that. So I went through this whole process myself as well. I used to, stand up in front of the mirror just when I was starting out in business, and I was like, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm confident, and I would do this day in, day out. And, of course, there was some days where I felt a little bit more enthusiastic than other times, but a lot of the time I felt like a bit of a fraud. And it actually just kept reaffirming the fact that I wasn't those things. And the thing is, with this, when this whole process happens, we have to understand that the thought that's coming up where you believe that you're not those things is actually the root of the problem. And that's what we need to face full on, for you to be able to clear these things out of your mind and then be able to take the actions that you want to take to be able to get to where you want to be. And the whole reason that we do these affirmations in the first place is to be able to take clear and consistent action so that we can get to where we want to be. Otherwise, if we don't take any action, it's just delusional. You're not going to change just by sitting around. So to be able to take the consistent action that we want to take with clarity, confidence, and conviction, we need to get to the root and remove the barriers, okay? So let me give you an example of this. If you wake up in the morning and you don't feel that good, maybe you slept in, maybe you missed your alarm, right? And now you are feeling guilty about the fact that you missed your alarm. And now you're feeling doubtful about the fact that you're trying to grow this business, you're trying to sign a couple of clients, you're trying to get to the next level, and now you feel this guilt and self-doubt. It's literally the same as being intoxicated, because there's no way that you can actually sit down and start to make clear and concise decisions that are going to help you grow your business, because you're now feeling all of this doubt, you're now feeling all of this guilt, and that snowballs later in the day. Maybe you sit down on the couch and maybe you watch a YouTube video, and now you feel even more guilty about doing that because you know that there's something else that you need to be doing, and the snowball effect continues. This completely knocks you off course, and now you're back to square one. So you try to do things like affirmations to change that, when really just ignoring the root problem. So when it comes to these negative emotions and barriers and blocks that come up that actually stop you from taking the actions, we need to be able to reframe them and go back and face those things full on, which sometimes can be difficult. It's the actual hard work that comes with mastering your mindset. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had to sit down and do, an hour or 2 hour long journaling session, just trying to get to the root of what is the thing causing the problem, and trying to reframe it as best as I possibly can by balancing it out, right? Not seeing it as negative, not seeing it as a positive, just seeing it for what it truly is, and then looking at how this thing has actually been able to serve me to get to where I am today. You do that enough times, you start to untangle your mind from all of these negative emotions, blocks, and barriers, so that you can actually think clearly. Because in reality, there is nothing good or bad. There is just neutral. There is just things that exist. And the more that you can see that, the more that you don't need any of these affirmations, you don't need any of these extra things. You just know what you need to do, and you execute on that daily. And when you do that, you get to where you want to be. And this is some of the stuff that I do one-to-one with clients. I've even had coaching calls where we've completely reframed something that the person was doubtful about. So what's the biggest takeaway that you've got from all of this?
That my self-doubt is actually guiding me to get me to where I want to go. What you thought is like a negative is actually a positive, if that makes sense. Yeah.
That's huge.
That would be the thing that just jumps out me like at me straight away, would be that.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it. And like, how crazy is that?
Yeah, but yeah, it's insane.
So Let's look at it, man. So like, what would you rate, like in terms of like doubting yourself to get to 10K a month? How does that feel on a scale of 1 to 10 now?
Right now, I reckon about a 2.
About a
I
two.
don't, I don't
Let's
want to give it
go.
a one. One, there's always room for improvement, but we'll go for a
Of
2.
course, and flipped it into motivation for them to actually be able to achieve what they want. And once you make that switch, and once you see that change, you can actually use that as fuel, and it's no longer taking up mental energy and space. And the most profound thing is that when you start to do this work and you remove these things and you pull back the layers and you really do this mindset work, you start to take actions more consistently. You start to see things the way that they are. You start to execute more efficiently. And when you do that, you don't need affirmations because you are executing and you're getting results. So you are confident. You do feel more free. You will eventually be rich. And these things start to compound. And it's like you don't need affirmations anymore because you're not hiding anything. You're actually just facing the things that need to be faced, clearing them and seeing how they truly are, and then using that as fuel to execute. And when you execute, you build confidence. And when you build confidence, you have clarity, you have conviction in who you are, and that's when you truly master confidence. It's these emotions that come up that stop you from actually being able to do the things that you know you need to do, which is the actual problem in itself. And when it comes to things like personal development and self-help and books and meditation and visualization and all of these things that are very, very beneficial, I've used them all myself, but it's very easy for them to actually become a crutch for you to actually do the things that you need to do, when in reality, the only thing that will move you forward to get to where you want to be is actually doing the work that's required to be able to get you there. There's a certain level of inputs that you need to do to be able to move forward to achieve your goals. And there's no amount of meditation, visualization that will actually change that for you. But also in relation to that, these things like meditation and visualization are very, very beneficial in other ways. It's really, like I said, finding what works for you. And if you find that you don't want to do any of those things and you just want to wake up in the morning and you just want to execute and you just want to work and that's all you want to do, you're going to be doing the same input as somebody who spends 2 hours meditating in the morning and then does the work. It's the same thing. But the last thing that you want to do is use these different things as a crutch or an excuse, thinking that you need to do them to be able to actually get to where you want to be, when in reality, you don't need to do any of those things. You just need to do the things that are actually required to move you there. And the last thing I do want to mention when it comes to affirmations is that if you are going to do affirmations and you feel like they would be beneficial, I would recommend to try them out, see what works for you, like I said. But what I like to do when it comes to affirmations, if I ever am doing them, in the beginning, this helped me out a little bit, where I was like, if I say I am something and then I referenced it to a time when I was that thing, that's much more powerful. So if I say I am free because I took the opportunity to go and travel the world, that's a reaffirmation where I know in my mind that that is truth. So technically, I am free. So I do feel freedom when it comes to those things. So that's something that you can play around with. But just simply saying I am rich when you're not is going to cause this contradiction, and that's where we need to get to the root of these things. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of this video. If you are a guy and you're looking to grow your income, build a magnetic personal brand in this new creator economy that we find ourselves in, lead your tribe, and also master your mind using some of the tools that I've talked about in some of these videos, and get access to those so you can go ahead and implement some of these things to see how you can make them work for yourself, I recommend to check out the link below to check out our school community, where you can find all of these different resources and have a tribe of brothers around you on the same journey as you. I'll see you inside.